I'm sitting here with Crumm, president of AMI. Aaron, why don't you tell us a little bit what AMI is all about?
Sure. AMI was founded to become a portable fuel cell company. And we started about 7 years ago with some work with the U.S. military to replace batteries for the soldier. And it's a pretty simple concept. Batteries weigh a lot, and our soldiers will carry 20 to 30 pounds of batteries at any one time.
Wow.
Whereas with the fuel cell technology, we can give them 2 or 3 pounds of fuel cell and fuel to accomplish the same mission.
So that's a factor of 10 difference.
Exactly, and that's why the level of interest is so high in fuel cells. Is there are a few places where they can actually achieve a true 10x, something you typically hear about but rarely ever achieve. And that's really what started our company and have kept us moving forward, is that constant pursuit of 10x. So started the company 7 years ago, looked at the fuel cell space. Everyone hears about fuel cells.
Right.
We distilled it down into what we can do well, where the best potential market is, and what best fits with the capabilities of a small business.
Okay.
So when you look at those 3 criteria, it became, well, portable, because you got the highest price point, right?
Okay.
An automobile engine costs $1,500 when you manufacture automobiles.
Okay.
That means the fuel cell would have to cost $1,500 if you want to put it in a car. Whereas with the U.S. military and in other high-end markets in the commercial space, I can charge $5,000 for a fuel cell system.
Wow.
Because it's cheaper than a $15,000 generator.
Okay.
So, wow, that's a good starting point. So we got the right price point. There's a commercial opportunity that makes sense. Portable makes sense for a small business because we make small fuel cells, which means there's a low capital equipment cost to develop that system. There's a low raw material and labor cost to build and generate generations of technology as you move along that logical progressive path.
Okay.
And it fit well. So it was the right kind of, a reasonable amount of resources, the right kind of price cost ratio that we needed to be successful. And at the end of the day, we could offer a great value proposition for the customer, which was a 10x.
Now, let me ask you this, because before this we were talking a little bit about your background.
Mm-hmm.
You have a PhD from U of M.
Mm-hmm.
Now, give us an idea. Did you go straight from undergrad to PhD school to now suddenly founding AMI, or how did that work?
Yes and no.
Okay.
As an undergrad, I was a nuclear engineer, which at the time was probably not the most job-rich environment.
But energy focused.
But energy focused, that's right. I know what an electron is, which is good. Spent a lot of time working in that area. Actually went to grad school to become a nuclear waste specialist. However, when I got to grad school, I realized there wasn't a great career path or opportunity there.
Right.
I got really attracted to material science because that's pretty much what nuclear waste was all about at the time. It was all about the material science of nuclear waste.
Now, I actually have a neighbor who I think has a PhD in material science, and he's building engine components for Ford. He's designing those.
Sure.
What does a material scientist do?
Ooh, that's BASF.
Okay.
Right? They don't make the thing, they just make the thing better. And that's pretty much what a material scientist does. So your friend who works for the automotive company, he doesn't build the car,
right,
but he might make the piston 20% lighter, which makes the car 1% more efficient, which saves more fuel and hence sells more cars.
Okay.
So material scientists don't do much except try to iterate and improve the materials to make things work better.
So if we're thinking about storing nuclear waste, we're kind of thinking of a material then that won't degrade over time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. And so you were working with ceramic?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, have you carried that work in ceramic over into AMI?
Sure.
Okay.
That's how the company got founded. Was after I got my PhD, got the entrepreneurial bug, decided to start a company. Because this was back in 2000.
Right.
Back when dot-com companies, you read about them every day. They take a cocktail napkin business plan and raise $22 million to go out and start their company, right?
Right.
Got bitten by the bug, went out and launched a company. And what I was going to do was leverage the ceramic know-how that I had from the university days and turn it into a viable business. And learned a lot of good lessons early on. And that's when we learned and realized that fuel cells were the best fit for what we could do.
So you have a patent on the fuel cell technology.
All the IP in the company is owned by the company.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Describe that that process a little bit for us, because now do you go out and get a patent and suddenly you're guaranteed riches, or what is the value
Instantly.
of the patent?
The checks just keep coming. That's
Okay.
right. No, I'm afraid not. All intellectual property does for you
Yes.
is it creates a fence.
Okay.
And if someone wants to break through your fence and copy what you do, you'll have the legal right to go into court and battle for that.
Okay.
But as with everything else in the legal system, it isn't about being right or wrong. It's typically a game of resources.
Okay.
So if IBM has 50,000 patents on a topic and you have 5, you're probably not going to win that argument.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
Not to mention IBM probably has a floor of lawyers, whereas
Right.
you got a guy down the street.
Yeah.
In that case, intellectual property does actually provide a vehicle and an opportunity for the little guy. Because your 5 patents might be the 5 most critical things IBM needs. And in which case, you're very well to do. But in true intellectual property strategy, when you do conceive of those things, is you want to build a complete strategy, right?
Okay.
You want to create a patent portfolio that's core to you. You want to
Okay.
put things called in roadblocks. So if you're farther along than your competitor, chances are you know that evolutionary path, right?
Right.
You want to establish roadblocks at various
So-
key points to keep them out.
Okay. Okay.
And then you want to be able to take a concept and don't patent the concept, but patent all the variations of the concept and
Okay.
build what they call a ring fence. So you don't want to just make a patent on a chair. You want
Right.
to make a patent on blue chairs with 4 legs, blue chairs
Okay.
with 5 legs, and etc. And you'd be able to establish a full position. So there was a long answer to a short question.
Well, no, that's good, because I think most people don't really get patent strategy who are not involved in IP. And I think one of the key things you're bringing up here as you talk about it is actually that idea of you have competitors, and it's really your competitors you've got to worry about, because they're the ones who are going to be able, when you describe IP to them, it's actually potentially a value to them. Whereas if you were to describe this to me, who knows nothing about fuel cells or ceramics, I wouldn't run out and start competing with you.
There you go. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, an intellectual property portfolio brings people to the table to come to resolution. It's like everything else. So what typically happens from an intellectual property dispute is something called a cross-license.
Okay.
So your competitor's got something, you've got something, you both want what the other has, so you effectively create a cross-license opportunity. So they can practice in a space that infringes on you, and
Right.
vice versa, and effectively then both of you are successful.
Okay. Okay. So it's sort of, maybe if you think of it as being like a poker game, it's kind of like the bet you've got to make to start things off.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, absolutely.